Welcome to our last podcast on the media and the political agenda. In today's podcast, we will be looking at policy entrepreneurs and agenda setting, as well as understanding the mass media. The learning objectives are as follows. 1. Explain how policy entrepreneurs employ media strategies to influence the public agenda. And 2. Assess the impact of the mass media on the scope of government and democracy in America. Let's begin. Policy entrepreneurs and agenda setting. People are trying to influence the government's policy agenda when they confront government officials with problems they expect them to solve. Interest groups, political parties, politicians, including the President and Congress, public relation firms, and bureaucratic agencies are all pushing for their priorities to take precedent over others. Political activists, often called policy entrepreneurs, people who invest their political capital in an issue, depend heavily upon the media to get their ideas placed high on government agendas. Policy entrepreneurs' weapons include press releases, press conferences, letter writing, buttonholing reporters and columnists, and trading personal contacts. People in power can also use a leak, a carefully placed bit of inside information that is given to a friendly reporter. Remember the WikiLeaks? That's what we're talking about here. The staging of political events to attract media attention is a political art form. Important political events, such as Nixon's famous trip to China, are orchestrated minute by minute with an eye on American television audiences. It is not only elites who have successfully used the media. Civil rights groups in the 1960s relied heavily on the media to tell their story of unjust treatment. Many believe that the introduction of television helped to accelerate the movement by geographically showing Americans in both the North and South what the situation was. Covering a long-term positive image via the media is more important than a few dramatic events. Policy entrepreneurs depend on goodwill and good images. Public relation firms may be hired to improve a group's or individual's image and its ability to sell its policy position. The media act as key linkage institutions between the people and the policymakers and have a profound impact on the political policy agenda, the media, and the scope of government. The watchdog function of the media helps to keep government small. Many observers feel that the press is biased against whomever holds office, and that the reporters want to expose them in the media. With every new proposal being met with skepticism, regular constraints are placed on the growth of government. The watchdog orientation of the press can be characterized as neither liberal nor conservative, but reformist. When they focus on injustice in society, the media inevitably encourages the growth of government. Once the media identify a problem in society, reporters usually begin to ask what the government is doing about the problem. The media portray government as responsible for handling almost every major problem. Individualism and the media. The rise of television has furthered individualism in the American political process. Candidates are now much more capable of running for office on their own by appealing to people directly through television. Congress is difficult to cover on television because there are 535 members, but there is only one president. So the president has increasingly received more exposure vis-a-vis the Congress. However, we know that congressmen, when they say something really stupid or do something really, really stupid, they also get a tremendous amount of press coverage. Democracy and the media. The rise of the information society has not brought about the rise of the informed society. The media do a much better job of covering the horse race aspect of politics than of covering very important issues. With the media's superficial treatment of important policy issues, it is not surprising that the incredible amount of information available to Americans today has not visibly increased their political awareness or participation. The media's defense is to say that this is what the people want. Network executives claim that they are in a business to make a profit, and to do so, they have to appeal to the maximum number of people. That concludes our final podcast on the mass media and the political agenda. In this podcast, we looked at policy entrepreneurs and agenda setting, as well as understanding the mass media. Our learning objectives were as follows. 1. Explain how policy entrepreneurs employ media strategies to influence the public agenda. And 2. Assess the impact of the mass media on the scope of government and democracy in America. Our next 3 podcasts will be on political parties. Thank you for tuning in.